I'm going to quote the philosopher, the great philosopher Shaggy. It wasn't me.
You're still listening. This is our final transmission.
Here is the Final Transmission podcast. It's me, Sam Russo. It's my good friend, Jamie Carruthers. And we're bringing you
one horror movie per episode from the dawn of time until the end of time.
Yes, sir, we are. And welcome. Have a seat, put your feet up, and get ready for us to serenade you with sweet, delicious opinions.
We are wrapping up our little series of Colby picks.
Colby month. What a time.
What a time. So if you're interested in what Colby picked for us, you can go back and look at the last 3 episodes and listen to this episode as well. And if you want to have the possibility of picking a movie, there's the Patreon. Just get in touch. Maybe we'll figure it out.
Do your thing. Be more like Colby would be my advice. What an excellent fella. Colby's picked this week for us a movie,
Quarantine.
Jamie, that I assume you're going to have huge opinions on.
I've got many, many opinions on this movie, Quarantine, from 2008.
Like a big fucking onslaught of rolling potatoes down the hill is what I imagine your opinions to be on this film.
Yeah, so Colby's in his message where he requested this. I just want to read out his message, which was, this one was so cool seeing it for the first time. I've always loved zombie flicks, so this one brought something new to the table and made zombies more real by explaining them in a grounded way.
That's a good take.
I mean, we'll get into it.
You're gonna blow that to smithereens, aren't you? You're gonna say it's not zombies.
Well, I mean, it is, but it also isn't. Like, whatever. So, Quarantine is a zombie movie, ostensibly found footage, part of that big sort of found footage boom. It's a remake of a Spanish movie directed by Paco Plaza and how am I pronouncing this guy's name?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Juan Balaguero. And I love Rec.
Yeah.
The Rec franchise. I mean, the first 3, the 4th one can jump off a big Spanish cliff.
What's so bad about the 4th one?
Just bad.
Huh.
Just like it just didn't work. But the second one, Rec 2, I love. I really love.
Yeah.
But I also love the third one, which like removes the found footage element and is set at a wedding on like the same day as the first stuff happens. And I quite like that as a concept. And I saw Rec at Fright Fest, I think in 2008, maybe 2007, maybe 2006.
Wow. You were right on the front line.
I was. And I was completely blown away by it. And it makes so many interesting choices and does so many cool things with found footage that when they announced the remake, Quarantine, starring Jennifer Carpenter,
about 6 minutes later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I never want to watch that. I'm never going to give that my time. Unless someone pays me.
Carpenter or...
Just because it was a remake of a movie that I liked a lot and it felt unnecessary.
Too soon.
Very much too soon. The movie, like, yeah, it's in Spanish. Rec is in Spanish, but like the dialogue isn't really important. But also the performances in it are really fucking good. The woman that plays the same character that Jennifer Carpenter plays, Manuela Velasco, she was a TV presenter. She like did like this sort of stuff. So she's really good at that. And then also is really good at being like terrified.
Well, you raised an interesting point there. Do you think if you were to star in a movie and it was about like you're an Air Force pilot, you're a bombardier or something, do you think you'd deliver a better performance in that role or in the role of a I don't know what to call your job nowadays. What's your current role title?
Marketing, communications, and recruitment officer.
Yes. Do you think you'd play a marketing, communications, and recruitment officer better or worse than a World War II fighter pilot?
I mean, I think I spend a lot of time pretending to be a marketing communications and recruitment officer.
Good
So
answer.
I've got that down pat.
Yeah, I guess it's less and less frequent that you sit in the bath pretending to hold the controls of an F-50 fighter jet and being like, meow. Yeah, fair play. In a way, you're delivering an Oscar-worthy performance every single day of the week.
Exactly, and I'm snubbed every year.
Snubbed at the Oscars, Jamie Carruthers, for his astonishingly realistic portrayal of a person with a job.
Yeah.
I just wonder if you're. I mean, like in all seriousness, the transition from what is a fairly performative role, you know, even reading the news is a performance, right?
Yeah.
That to being a newsreader / investigative journalist in a found footage movie. There's so many layers to dissect performance-wise in a found footage movie, I think, generally speaking, but especially in a situation like that, it's a very interesting angle to come at it from.
Yeah, I think, like, obviously we'll get into it when we get into the movie proper, but I think that Jennifer Carpenter really nails the scared stuff, like really nails the after her character basically is broken down and has to like recalibrate what's happening based on the events of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
She really becomes a character then, but is fucking awful at being a investigative journalist, news reporter. I feel like it's so massively unconvincing.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I have very mixed feelings about it.
Yeah, I mean, I have very mixed feelings about this movie generally. I think it does do some good stuff. I was surprised. Ultimately, it is a shot-for-shot remake of the original, and it sucks a lot of heart out of it. It sucks a lot of the. Have you seen Wreck?
No.
Okay, well, imagine this, but like every decision is considered.
Yeah. I watched a shot-by-shot comparison and some contextual stuff around it just for a little bit of research.
Yeah.
And I mean, my general impression is, like that's the real movie.
Yeah.
And I again, like I did a bit of research into, direct comparison as to how the two movies were made. And I think it's really interesting to compare how, the process of making these two movies that were made so close together and in such completely different social contexts. Very interesting.
Yeah. I think like also, like if you've watched those things side by side, so Rec cost $1.5 million, maybe two.
Yeah.
And Quarantine cost something like 12 million. And you would be hard pressed to be like, okay, I know where the money's gone here. And presumably, because it's a Hollywood movie, it has like union rates that they have to pay and things like that. So that probably drives the price up a bit. But like, you're not seeing a movie that cost nearly 10 times the amount.
Yes, it's hard to see a direct justification of that kind of increase in spend. Everything that I read and watched said that it's, the bulk of the budget went on the actual production itself. So building the set was such a complicated endeavor because they had to essentially build this 1930s building in more of like a flat laid out single story navigable way that you could shoot in a linear fashion through. So it was almost like mapping out the building for the plot of the movie. And it's such a detailed set, and there's a ton of time and effort put into making sure that if you're shooting in these 5-minute bursts, basically, you have to make sure that the tracking of those 5 minutes is linear and logical through the building, so you don't give yourself away and see like one of the wrong rooms in the background or whatever. So apparently that was a huge endeavor and a lot of money spent on that. But everything I read critically said, and where the fuck did the rest go? Because there's a lot of criticism of performances I read.
Yeah, I think like that's interesting about like how they built those sets, because Wreck, they just shot in a building.
Yeah, literally just shot it in the building where it takes place. Yeah.
Yeah. And like those buildings exist. I mean, I think it's weird that they build the set in America and they make it look so Spanish.
Yeah. Yeah, really interesting. I mean, I guess it's LA, so you can get away with it, but
yeah, obviously a lot of Spanish buildings in that area. But like,
I follow a lot of Spanish style house real estate accounts on Instagram to torture myself, and yes, I can tell you there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I think like it's a weird artifact to me. I don't want to spend the entire episode talking about it in relation to Wreck.
Oh, it bears mentioning though. It's
but yeah,
very, very important that film exists as well.
I tried to watch it. I watched it and was like, well, this is just fucking Wreck. but
yeah, you
not,
texted me straight away,
but not as good. And then I tried to watch it without being like, okay, but this is how they did it in Rec. Like I tried to get away from that and just try and watch it on its own merits. I think like part of me really, so I watched it with a commentary in one of the permutations that I watched it, and they don't mention Rec at all in the commentary. And they talk about all these choices that they made, and they talk about all these things that they did and all these ideas that they had. And it's like, but you didn't have any idea. You didn't have any choices. You did what they did in the original, just like not as good.
Yeah, I almost find it hard to even credit a writer for a film like this.
Yeah.
You know, there's 3 fucking writers credited on this movie.
Well, one of them is
one of them is the original.
Yeah.
Baddonweird. And the other 2 guys, like, well, you know, do you get credit for like copying out a script? How does that work? Yeah, it's a tricky one.
So, like I said, I don't want to spend the entire runtime of this episode being like, yeah, but in Rec they did this, but in Rec they did do that, and it was better. Yeah. The director here and the writers, they worked on a couple of movies that I really liked. I loved As Above, So Below. I think it's one of my favorite found footage, like mainstream, like found footage movies.
Yeah.
And they also made the Poughkeepsie tapes, which was one of those, like, I don't think it's good, but like it was one of those movies that existed sort of mythologically in like in the horror scene for ages, because it got shown and then like it didn't get released, and like there was all this murmuring about why it didn't get released, and it didn't get released because it wasn't very good, I think, was the ultimate thing. But like because of the way that it didn't get released and like it got pulled, and there was all this like hoo-ha around it, and then it sort of went away for 12 years or something before it actually got released.
Yeah, I forgot about that whole kerfuffle.
Yeah,
I remember really enjoying that.
There was like a leaked version that came out that was like bootlegged and passed around, and I thought that's the only version that I've seen at this point.
Right.
And that was bad.
I thought I remember it being a really silly, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking of something else. I remember it being like over the top serious to the point where it's silly and it's almost kind of like a parody type thing, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think you could probably watch it that way.
Yeah.
But it's not over the top serious to the point where it's meant to be funny. It's just over the top. It's like we're making
a horror movie. Yeah.
Yeah, we're making like almost like an August Underground ultra. Yeah. I mean, we talked a lot about found footage fairly recently as well. And I bristle at it as a filmmaking style. It's not a genre, obviously, but I bristle at it a filmmaking style. But like when it's done right, it can be done really well. Like, and I think As Above, So Below, which, I mean, I love like the concept of like a Tomb Raider, Indiana Jones horror movie in the catacombs. That's fucking rad.
Why the fuck isn't every movie in the catacombs?
Yeah.
It's on a platter.
Yeah, I think we also recently talked about the movie Catacombs with Pink and Shannon Sossamon, and that's a bad movie.
You're not going to convince me that's a bad movie.
I mean, it's got Shannon Sossamon in it, so like, there's at least one redeeming feature in every single scene, and that is Shannon Sossamon. Shannon Sossamon and her wonderful, wonderful face. But yeah, I bristle at found footage, but I like when it's done well.
I feel like there should be like a little set of rules in Hollywood where you pitch a found footage movie and someone should automatically have to step in. Like the found footage authority should have to step in and be like, are you going to do any of these things? And then list the fuck ups. And if that person is like, yep, then they shouldn't be able to make the movie. Whereas if they're like, no, we're going to deftly navigate those and we're going to come up with really interesting ways to subvert those issues and problems and we're going to be really clever about it, then they should be allowed. They should get their money and they should be off to the races.
I think that like some of those things, what goes on your list of like things that you need to avoid?
Going like so excessively dependent on the camera being there. Like I have to believe that there's a reason for the camera to still be there.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck wouldn't you turn the camera off and survive? Happens a lot in these movies. It's taken up at least one of your hands. Like, up that hand, bro. And it's tricky. Obviously, it's a light source for the most part in this movie. And I buy that.
Yeah.
I do kind of believe that.
They're also like ostensibly journalists. So
yeah, they're still supposedly trying to document, but I get it. Like in a war situation, you keep the camera rolling because you put yourself in a war zone, you know. But if you go to a fucking domestic and it becomes a biological weapon unleashed in a fucking, yeah, you put that camera down. I don't know. What else are the crimes of found footage? I guess just the shocking performances that come out of the genre when people are. There should be a masterclass in acting to camera led by David Mitchell and Robert Webb because they talk about how, to begin with, that was totally unnatural, and looking into the camera is what you're trained your whole life not to do. So when you start doing it, it feels weird, it feels unnatural, you're acting to nobody. It's, you know, a lot of challenges there. And I think a lot of people go in unprepared for that and they end up sucking as a result. Some people just do it naturally really well. You get some great found footage performances. But for the most part, yeah, let's have you acting down the lens for a while before you're allowed on the big horse.
Yeah, I think the key way to act in a found footage movie is to not act.
Yeah, it must be hard because you're an actor.
But you have to, because of the way the camera is like engaging with you differently. You're not like doing a play and someone's got a camera there. You need to just exist as a person.
Yeah,
and that it must be really, really hard, but fucking do it.
Yeah, I think it's why some great actors do it badly, because it is really hard. And I bet it's a really unique skill set that doesn't come naturally to most performers.
And that's why just Jennifer Carpenter is bad in the first part, but then when she's able to just be like, I'm playing the terror of this scene, I think it comes back around.
Anytime she's acting to camera, it's tough.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that she's shit at it, but I was wondering on, my first and only watch, is this tactical? Is she over the top cheese dick to the camera to overemphasize the panic and the terror later on? Is there an over the top saccharine sweetness early that kind of belies the madness of later on? Is she, I don't know, was there some preheating of a certain oven at some point? Is this a deliberate choice to be this particular flavor of two camera acting?
I mean, that's possible because as a character, there's probably a reason why she's doing this puff piece about a fire station at night or whatever.
Yeah.
But they never get into I'm the garbage reporter that they just sort of send out because I'm not very good.
Sure.
You're on TV, you need to be a certain level of good. And so maybe that's a choice, but I don't know if I buy that.
Well, interesting question then. If you turned on the telly, right, you're watching the news, you're watching your local LA news broadcast, and you see this Jennifer Carpenter performance of the fire station piece, and you're seeing it in the context of news, do you think, fucking shut up your shit? Or do you think, ooh, how interesting?
Almost definitely shut up your shit.
Fair enough. I was kind of leaning the other way. I partly bought her as a, try hard reporter. I just didn't love the transitional period in the movie where she's still acting to camera during the movie, I guess, during the jeopardy, because she's kind of barky and shouty and it all feels very forced. But I don't know. There was part of me that wanted to buy it desperately because I give found footage the extra mile to fuck up in because it must be so hard. But yeah, don't know. Not 100% sure about that early doors performance. It should be noted, everything I say about Jennifer Carpenter is tainted by some seriously loaded preconceived feelings because she looks like every fucking girl I fancied throughout my entire teenage years. If you just lined up every girl I fell in love with as a young man, there's like a 80 to 99% hit rate in characteristic comparison to Jennifer Carpenter.
She has had a weird career because she was in The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which was great. Mm-hmm. She's really good in that. She was obviously in Dexter, a mixed bag of performances there, I think. But
she's in it for a long time, right?
Yeah.
She's fucking sick in Brawl in Cell Block 99. I still think she's really good in that.
Yeah, she was in two of that guy's movies, wasn't she? Because she was also in Dragged Across Concrete or whatever it's called. Which
I think... I don't really remember her in that, but it's a fucking good movie. I mean, it's Mel Gibson, so, take or leave. But I thought it was a great film.
And then because Ajax from the Warriors died, they brought her back as like the Dark Passenger in the new Dexter stuff. Spoiler alert, because she dies in Dexter. So this came out. This was like towards the end, I think, of Dexter, and that's not true. Like sort of smack in the middle of Dexter. And do you think maybe she was trying to make a bit of a Hollywood play?
I don't understand. You know, skimming her IMDb and noting the things that I know her from, the things I've seen her in or whatever, I don't really understand why she doesn't have more of a career. There's I feel weird saying that. There's nothing wrong with Jennifer Carpenter. Like, I think she's a pretty fucking good actor. She's obviously got a very, very striking appearance. Like, I guess...
And her character is also very, very striking. Like, generally, she has a well-defined personality that like she can sort of mold a little bit, but like her thing is like very confident, very sort of brash, and like you can play around in that sandbox, and like it also matches her sort of aesthetic.
It is really hard to pin down why she's not had a much bigger... I don't know what the fuck I'm saying here. Like, I don't want to say a bigger career because she's fucking probably made millions of dollars being a full-time actor.
Yeah.
But like, I'd like to see her in stuff where she can really stretch her legs a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? Like, throw her some fucking screen bones. I don't know. Put her in something a little bit more substantial. I'd like to see her in more period stuff. I think she's got a great range. I find her borderline impressive in a lot of stuff that she's in, and
I can't really imagine her in period stuff because she's got such a modern face.
Yeah, and I think I love the way she looks. I think she's so attractive and so like endearing on screen, and there's so much going on. Her face can go from like the happiest, like peppiest, excitable kind of, you know, sparkly personality coming through the face, and then she can go to such a deadpan place in a second, like a complete switcheroo. And I think that just screams of scope and range, and I'd like to see her in the remake of Open Range. Maybe she's one of these actors who has a very rich life outside of her day job and just takes what comes along, does it, and cracks on.
Yeah.
You do see him.
I feel like it would be quite easy for her to be in stuff if she really wanted to be in stuff. She's got a name and a face and a profile.
She's in the club.
Yeah. So
maybe she's a fucking horrible, horrible person. Maybe she's really hard to be around and impossible to work with. I doubt it. She seems cool.
I'm sure.
Yeah, of course she's in Dragged Across Concrete. Yeah, I remember her in that. Yeah.
So how do you feel about zombies in a found footage situation?
Largely bummed, but great in this because they're rabies zombies, and I love rabies. Rabies is one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into the rabies of it all when we're deep in spoilers. But every single horror villain should, in theory, work in a found footage context because, like, you're applying a level of personalization and like character into a thing. It's why all of like the perspective stuff works in all slashers, for example. And so you're applying this level of like personal perspective into these movies. Yeah. And in theory, they should all work, and they don't. And
it's a toughie, right? Because zombie scares are a little bit two-dimensional to a certain point. You've got to be a fucking creative genius applying an enormous amount of thought and precision and, you know, directorial acuity to every scene to get something interesting out of a zombie angle. It's not just rush at me, oh no, I've been bitten, you know, constantly.
Yeah, because historically the threat of a zombie is that they'll get you in the end. Like it's the inevitability of it. Like the inevitability of death is just always there.
Yeah,
and like
because the fun part is, will I be overwhelmed by a horde? Will I be nipped? Will it be one of those like sad, shameful deaths where I get caught out, or will it be an honorable overcoming?
Yeah, and like that's why presumably they invented fast zombies, because they were like, well, life comes at you pretty fast or whatever.
Life goes by pretty fast.
Ferris Bueller said. So
Yep. Ferris Bueller famously creating the fast zombie genre.
But like they do that. I don't like fast zombies.
I don't like them as much as their slower brothers and sisters. Yeah.
But again, I think that they were born out of lazy writing. They were like, "Oh, I can't think of a way to make zombies scary without having them jump out and be gooey and running towards me." So
Feels
that
valid though. You know, do that with everything. Like sharks are scary, but what if it was huge? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if it could run?
Yeah, exactly. What if it could talk?
I think if a shark could talk, I would be less scared of it than if it could run.
What if it was voiced by?
If a shark was in this room now,
Yeah,
talking to me, I'd be like, "You're right, mate." Whereas if it was running at me, I'd be like, "Okay,
like,
I'm jumping out the I jump out the window."
What if it was voiced by Wallace Shawn? Jaws, voiced by Wallace Shawn. Damn.
Yeah, I mean that would be lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was voiced by Andrew Dice Clay,
Right.
"Hey, I'm a fucking shark over here," like that would be. I'd be a big fan of that. What if Andrew Dice Clay was a shark? We're getting into a period in like comedy now where it's like everything is meta comedy. I watched like 20 minutes of a guy being like, "I'm Chinese Rodney Dangerfield." And it was really, really funny. It's like, "Hey, my parents, they hate me. They had another kid so they could get rid of me." Like,
good grief. I like it. I'm all in. We've gone back to basics. It's about time.
Yeah. I think that kind of funny is funny. Anyway.
Me too. Fast zombies. Whether or not you like them, they're here to stay. At least these ones have rabies.
Yeah. The plot of this movie is Jennifer Carpenter plays a TV presenter who works for a like a news magazine show, and
yeah, like a trashy news feature piece type show.
Yeah, and she is recording the sort of the life of a firehouse at night in LA, and they get a call to a domestic situation at a building, and it turns out that the building has been quarantined by the CDC and
Center for Disease Control.
And within the building, the inhabitants are exhibiting symptoms of a new and terrifying disease that looks a lot like zombieism.
Do you like that they don't name the disease?
Yeah.
Because rage virus makes me so sad. Like when they try and find a way to name it. Oh, hate that. Glad you didn't name it, boys.
I mean, I like in the movie, what's it called? Doomsday, which I think is a great movie. It's called the Reaper virus. And like I think if you're going to name it, you have to name it something really stupid and cool. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's too much. I love it when they name a substance like trioxin, or I love it when they actually give they make up some bullshit, Spazole. I love that shit. But naming the virus is another. Maybe it's not a found footage. It's not on the found footage list specifically, but it is like give it a good name, okay? Or we don't let you make the movie.
I think they don't name it in this because they wouldn't know.
Yeah. But they could, between them, start colloquially referring to it as something, and that would have fucking kicked me square in the face.
Yeah. Well, luckily they don't. So I obviously come at this film with baggage.
Yep. Cum-filled baggage.
So it is hard to watch this film, but it's also hard to watch this film because it's not very good. And I don't know how much of that is baggage and how much of it is the movie, because Wreck is basically the exact same movie, as we've said. It's like almost shot for shot. They make some changes. There are some, because the character of Jennifer Carpenter is different to the character of Manuela Velasco. Because of their sort of inherent personality is different, they make some changes to the character as a result of that.
Sure.
Manuela Velasco's Angela is a bit more meek and a bit more scared early on.
Yeah. Scared of the fireman.
Yeah. And like, she's also not as sort of forthright sexually. So they don't have that sort of level of like sexual interplay between the fireman and her. It's a little bit more professional and like, so there's all of that that's like a little bit different. And then they change the thing that I think is fundamentally the most interesting thing about the Wreck movies more generally, which we'll get into later.
Mm-hmm.
But why don't we move into some spoilers now so we can just talk freely about rabies and about everything. So we're in spoilers.
Whoa, holy shit. I guess that's why they call it Phantom Power.
The rabies thing I think is fine and cool.
Does it make sense?
No, it doesn't make sense because the vet lists off the symptoms of rabies and is like, oh, look, these are all the symptoms of rabies. It's like, yeah, but none of those are the things that are happening. Like...
Okay, I think I see where I hadn't noticed that, but yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah,
like if it'd be like, so there's a stabbing pain.
Yeah,
there's a stabbing pain in the big toe. The Ottoman is kind of a bit in the way. These are all the symptoms of a stubbed toe, and it's a zombie.
I've got diarrhea.
Yeah, like
yeah. Good use of Ottoman, by the way. Haven't thought about an Ottoman in quite some time.
Yeah, sorry, the credenza was at a weird angle, so
yeah, and that's why you shit your pants. No need to panic, people. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm thinking more from the angle of like, if you're a crazy bunch of cultist psychos who want to bring about the end of civilization, is rabies your choice? Like, I guess because it creates such chaos. It's an overwhelming chaos virus in humans, right? It's going to be people running around, going nuts, biting each other, foaming at the mouth. Is that the most expeditious way to end the world?
If I was going to pick a virus to infect the world with, it would be the Ebola virus.
Okay, why is that?
I think
there's no way this is coming back on you in any way, by the way.
Yeah. If we all die of the Ebola virus, I'm going to quote the philosopher, the great philosopher Shaggy. It wasn't me.
A voice for our time.
Yeah, I just think like it's so gnarly and horrible, and like, I mean, you can't get rabies and live, but if you get Ebola, it's so incredibly infectious.
Yeah,
that like, I mean, again, this isn't rabies, so none of the symptoms are rabies symptoms, and like they're like, oh, it's rabies. It's like, okay, but why did that woman get up after you shot her 3 fucking times in the head? Like,
yeah,
like you can't explain it away. Like, just make it be a zombie outbreak. In Wreck, doing this again, I'm just going to do some spoilers for Wreck here because I think it's important context. So in Wreck, the idea is that the girl is possessed by a demon.
Yeah.
And the bite infects you with like possession. So they're zombies in as much as like zombies are demons, which they're obviously not. But like in a world where we're extrapolating, we're building on the tagline for Dawn of the Dead, when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like we're extrapolating on that, and like I like the idea of demons being sort of faceless, slithery creatures rather than like dudes in suits being like, hey, I'm a sexy demon guy. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, that's what a demon would say in
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Of course.
But like I like that, and I like the element of like, obviously Spain has a very different relationship with religion than America.
Yeah.
So
much sexier place.
So they have there's a thing there. Obviously, America has a relationship with religion that is interesting. But the idea that we're like apocalypse cult, rabies virus mutation. It just sort of doesn't make sense because the rabies of it all isn't there. And I think that like removing the religious element to it and the sort of the demonic element to it is the reason why this didn't become a franchise.
Yeah.
Because there's something in that you can extrapolate and build on and create more content out of, which is why there are 4 or however many Wreck movies, and there's technically 2 quarantine movies, but one of them was a spec script for a different zombie movie set on a plane.
Okay.
And I have seen that and it's garbage.
Right.
And that was just them being like, well, that movie was vaguely popular, so we'll call this movie Quarantine 2.
Right.
I just think that it's not interesting. But I also, one of my biggest gripes with this movie, right, and I again have this sort of weird fractured relationship with found footage, and like you, I'm like, why are they still rolling? And in this, it kind of makes sense because they're news reporters, and they would want to be reporting on, especially if you're playing up the element of like, okay, this is a sort of fairly sidelined like news reporter who is only doing puff pieces, and they have this underlying ambition to be a real actual news person who's doing real news, and they sort of stumbled into some actual news.
Yeah.
Like obviously none of that is text, but like if you sort of internalize that and think through that, then okay, fair dues, we're still filming. But maybe the reason why this cameraman isn't shooting real news is because he doesn't know how to hold a fucking camera.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. How do you have a job?
Just point it at her. Good Lord.
Yeah. And like, in Wreck, like, it's not better, but it feels more diegetic. The fear feels, because the movie is scarier, the fear feels more real, and therefore it's more justified for the camera to move that way. Whereas in this, and maybe there's some baggage that we have because we know Jennifer Carpenter from Dexter, and like we're very much watching an actor give a performance, and it's very much like here is an actor giving a performance in a movie. Whereas the character in Wreck, we don't know her, we've never seen her. She's a bit more natural on camera anyway in those early scenes. She's acting in another language, so there's always that element to it as well. It's like it's maybe easier to get along with it. The choices that they make here are bad and weird and wrong and not scary, and
bad and weird, or one word.
Bad and weird, yeah. Welcome to Bad and Weird is where my
Indiana's pen pal lives.
Yeah, like my spooky slasher, my spoof slasher.
Yeah, it's not quite Haddonfield. It's Bad and Weird.
Yeah. Welcome to Lake Baddonweird.
You've watched way too much Austin Powers this week, my friend. I think it's a toughie for me because I think this movie is actually really well executed. But I'm coming at it from the point of view of somebody who doesn't enjoy the genre of running around screaming, close proximity, jumpy things in the dark. I get nothing out of that really as an experience. But and obviously I haven't seen Wreck, so I feel like a little I don't know. I'm like a little virgin coming into this, and
all right,
it pops my cherry just fine. Like I think this is a movie that I didn't enjoy. I'd go as far as say almost at all from start to finish, but not because it wasn't very good, because it's not my kind of movie. I actually think it was really well made. I couldn't really see the strings. I thought Jennifer Carpenter, her portrayal of somebody who is hysterically terrified, is demanding and quite well done. I think there's parts where we're with her for too long to really believe that level of terror. You know, when she's groping around in the dark, some of that feels a little bit too much. The whole movie is very over the top. I think if you settle into the fact you're going to watch something really excessive, then you're probably going to have more fun than if you want something subtle. But on the whole, I did really struggle to kind of pick apart what it was doing that wasn't good. It just wasn't really my kind of movie. I imagine if you watch it in the cinema, undivided attention, locked in a dark room, in the mood for a real fucking smash around. Like, this is the kind of movie that should really be like a simulator. Like, you should be in one of those
like 4DX or something.
Yeah, like a box that chucks you around and like glass breaks and water sprays on you and shit. It feels like less of a movie and more of a, harrowing experience.
Yeah, like
Which
a
isn't my
really
particular brand, but yeah.
a really horrible theme park experience.
Yeah, like a brutal haunted house experience, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I think it plays kind of like a haunted house or like a video game. Like you start off on the
Very
ground
video
floor
gamey.
and you're going floor by floor, almost like Dread or The Raid or like one of those movies. But I mean, I agree. It's hard to pick out what's actually bad. Like I think it's reasonably well made. I think the last sort of 20 minutes are pretty good, especially if you haven't seen Wreck, all the stuff in like the attic or the penthouse or whatever that is, and then they go into the attic again. I think that's pretty good. I mean, it's better in Wreck, but it is pretty good here, and like it becomes quite scary and atmospheric, and the characters are sort of locked in, and we get all the night vision stuff, and I think that's really effective. And then you get like Doug Jones in his like classic Doug Jones prosthetics that he's always in. Like, let this man have a face one time. Like,
yeah.
But that's all really good and effective to me. I think like, we talked about this in the week, but I think the level of bad and wrong that this movie sort of is in general really, like you say, requires you to be locked in a box with it. You have to really hone in because it's so easy to just sort of have your eyes sort of slowly just avert to the window. And
you just kind of glaze over a bit when it's that constant. When the jeopardy is so heightened all the time, it becomes meaningless, I think. And this movie is a hysterical film, like almost from start to finish. It's over the top from start to finish. It's hysterical for about fucking 80 minutes. And that loses me pretty quickly in terms of my willingness to engage, because there's a certain fever pitch type of performance where there's just no nuance for me to enjoy. It's just, right, you're terrified now for the next hour. Okay.
Yeah.
Oof, let me just ride along. And that's a little bit tough for me, but some people love that level of, mania.
I think that level of mania would be fine for me if I could hook into the character.
Yeah. Do you think we're too English for this film? Do you think it comes from a filmmaking tradition that has kind of looked at something and said, not mental enough, and then Americanized it to the point where it's absolutely bonkers? And do you think maybe we're a bit like, ooh, it's a bit much?
I think it's interesting because the English version of this movie is like the Borderlands, which is just like two priests in a church smoking rollies and making wry comments to each other. So like,
even that was too much for me. Yeah, I don't know. It feels dismissive to just say this film's just too much, but it's this. And again, I don't want to disparage anyone, but it is a quintessentially American remake, isn't it? It's taken something and gone more, just more of everything, more.
But
and
I mean, there isn't really
too much sometimes.
There isn't really more of anything. I feel like you get.
Is there not more hysteria and more like shit just flying in from all angles and like there's not really a scene where there's not like some broken glass flying in from the left and someone running at you and someone else screaming and something gets dropped and then we're inverted and it's just like you're being kicked around the whole time.
But that all happens in Wreck.
Yeah.
I think the only I don't know what there is more of here. But there is 10 more minutes of this movie than there is in Wreck.
Yeah.
So there must be more something, because how do you do a shot-for-shot remake and make it 10 minutes longer? I don't understand the science of that. A thing that is kind of hinted at and like I think should be explored more and would make the movie better for me is obviously they are quarantined in this building by the CDC or whoever. And there's a good moment where someone tries to escape through a window and they get shot a bunch of times by like the military outside. And I think that is cool. Also, it happens in Wreck. But the idea that like the sort of social political idea of like this sort of low income housing being disposable, or the people inside it being disposable because they don't matter.
Yeah, they're going to bomb it, right? That's the fucking subtext. Yeah.
And like, I feel like we should explore that more, but we don't because we're too busy being inside it.
Yeah, too busy screaming.
And nobody's like, oh, they don't care about us because we're poor. And like, maybe they don't need to verbalize it quite in that way. But do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it would be better if there was something that really brought that subtext out a bit more rather than like just had it be something that you have to really dig for if you want to find something interesting in the movie.
Yeah, it gives it more of a them and us atmosphere, becomes more of a showdown, becomes more of a there's more of a conspiratorial angle to it when you factor that in that I quite enjoy.
But you have to find it, right? You can't like the movie doesn't give it to you. You have to.
The movie doesn't tell you it's a shithole. Like it, it doesn't do any of that for you, really. Yeah,
you've got a route through the movie to be like, okay, I'm watching this and I want it to be good, so I have to find something to make it good, and like it's an accident, really, is what I think. Is that like there's no, they sort of wander into this sort of social political subtext,
right?
That isn't there in the movie, and that they kind of have found it by existing in the world and maybe like internalizing some of that generally. I mean, maybe they would argue that it is in there and it's meant to be in there, but it's not in there, and you have to dig through a lot of crates before you find that record. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nobody stamps on a rat in the original. Would you stamp on a rat? Would you stomp on a rat if a rat came near you?
Or would you paid me?
Would you just like sort of nudge it with your toe until it fucked off?
You're like, oh, rat.
Yeah, I don't like rats. I'm not a rat king or whatever, but like
there's a lot of things I don't like that I don't go around stamping on.
Literally, I would be. And also, if you stamped on a rat, that wouldn't happen unless you've got very special stompy boots. Like
I've got my rat stomping boots. They just detonate on impact.
Yeah, and the cop, I think, is one of the most difficult things in this movie. And then, like, they have to, because the movie needs to move on from this cop being insane. He's just like, they slap him. He's like, oh, thanks, I needed that, or whatever. Like,
bring me back. There's no good dudes in this movie. The whole movie hangs on Jennifer Carpenter being basically pitch perfect the entire time, which of course is impossible in a film like this. I don't think that's even her fault. I think you can't put that much on one central character and expect total like resonance, connection, buy-in, all the things that we need relationally in a movie to really enjoy human actions and behavior. There's too many dumb shit dickwads running around ruining it. You want to talk about really let her fly?
You want to talk about dumb shit dickwads, right?
Always.
Why would, in this situation, you get in a lift? There's one thing we know about getting in a lift or an elevator if you're a fucking American.
Yep.
One thing we know is that you don't do that in a extreme situation.
Yeah. You don't do it when there's bad weather, where there's a fire, where there's a natural disaster, where there's a flood. It's off limits immediately.
Yeah. I think if it was me making this movie, I would really have lent into the lift. And you get in the lift and it's like the lights are working, it's playing the lift music, and it's just like a little breather in the movie of like, and then it opens and then the carnage starts again. Like that would be a sort of a fun way to really break up the tension of the movie rather than like, oh, we're trapped in a box with 25 more fucking zombies.
Continue screaming. Yeah.
The limit is 12. Like,
yeah. Yeah. I think that would, you've hit the nail on the head there. My central criticism of this, which again, I think is a good film. I think this is well executed, found footage, zombie style, bioweapon horror. It's its own little niche thing, but it lacks nuance. It lacks those moments. It lacks those pacing breaks. It lacks calibration. And I think in order to understand the stakes of any kind of peril or jeopardy, you need those palate cleanser moments where there's a modicum of safety, or there's some sort of atmosphere of hope, or something to offset the sheer and constant panic. But that being said, I still think it's pretty fun.
Yeah,
it's too dark to be fun, really. Like, there's not a lot of fun happening here, but it's still got elements of romp to it. It's still reminiscent of, there's a Resident Evil 2 vibe going on here. It's very, very gamified, which I find immensely off-putting. But I know that a lot of people would fucking love that shit.
I think, when you first person a movie and then you set it in a high-rise building where
by torchlight,
and you're going floor by floor, like, it's always going to feel like a video game.
And you're discovering, they're literally pointing a torch at documents and they're finding a tape player. And I refuse to believe that that's cinematic. That's wholly coming from the world of gaming, I think.
An interesting choice that they did make here in Rec. They go up to the penthouse and they play the tape.
Yeah.
And on the tape, it's just like a guy explaining how he found the fucking pages of the Necronomicon in the Nobi cabin or whatever. Like, it's that tape basically.
Yeah.
And it just plays. And then in this, it's like, oh, we can't get the tape to work. We played it. It's playing at half speed. We can't understand what he's saying. Like, I think that's a subversion of the original. Yeah. And I think that's the cool choice that they make. It's like, oh, we've set up this tape, the tape recorder. She's going to play the tape. She doesn't know what it's saying. We're going to move on. Like,
yeah, I read that the director decided that was scarier because it left more mystery.
Yeah.
Don't know. Honestly, don't know. I think it's predictable to have the tape play and be like, I've discovered a virus. But it's not more scary to have it be nothing. It's scary that it's an ominous, low, slow, creepy voice in the middle of, constant chaos. But I don't really see it as a significant decision. I read someone who was talking about it being this like mind-blowing creative deviation from the original, and I thought, it doesn't really matter at this stage. Like, nothing matters at this stage. We're about 3 minutes from the death of everyone that we're supposed to give a shit about in the movie, unless it's an astonishing revelation of some kind. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it sort of feels like it's there as a subversion, but the real subversion would just be to not have it. So like we stop for, I don't know, what, 50 seconds, a minute and a half or whatever on a tape playing, and sure, it's an ominous vibe, but it's not giving us anything. It's not moving the movie along. It's not. We're just sort of stopping here. And like the good stuff in that sort of penthouse scene, the big sort of finale scene, is that, like, we know that something's up there. We, like, obviously we've seen Rec, so we know something's up there anyway. But like, that something's up there. We're at the big boss. We've got to the finale of the game. We're like, we're in the boss battle. So you're looking for it constantly, and so you're scanning every inch of the frame, trying to figure out like what's happening in there. So I guess like stopping for a moment and like listening to something while it gives us a chance to like root around in the frame to find out, see if we can see anything, and gives us a little moment. But like,
it's not far off your elevator moment, is it?
No, it's not a million miles away, but it's not as nice as the elevator moment, where it like, because you in this moment something could jump out at any second, whereas in the safety of an elevator, that's probably not going to happen. But
scope for humor in the elevator as well. It's kind of almost like a funny little break.
Yeah, because like you can't talk in a lift, and like so like there's a weird thing of you getting in a lift and everyone has to stand and face the same way, and the music's playing, and it's like
and
it's
grounding. It's a grounding moment.
Yeah, and then the door opens and it's like
What in that scene where you've got the creepy old skinny fucker? Is that supposed to be like a patient zero type situation? Is that what we're being led to believe here?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, and that's why they're the big boss, because they're fully Rabazoid.
Yeah, and like, I think the Carpenter really works in that scene. Jennifer, not John, and like her trajectory from like a brave and assured person to like a complete broken bag of like nerves and jangled terror by the end is really good.
Yeah,
like,
she's fucked.
And it's, I think, also the first time that the found footage element is really used well.
Mm.
It does something interesting, or at least like appropriate. And I really enjoy like the vignette stuff. So the way that they use the light from the camera, like you say, that's the only reason that the camera still exists in this in this context, is that it's a light source. Like you say, the sort of gamey way that it sort of teases out information, and the zombie baby jump scare is great.
I hated it. Absolutely hated it.
You hate a zombie baby, I think, right? Like that's
why I fucking hate zombie baby. I hate kids. I hate zombie babies. I hate baddie kids. Full stop. Get out. That was a real like, you've just winning me over, you fucker. Like objectively, I was starting to think this film is good. It's just me that's the problem. And then zombie baby, I'm like, nah, see ya. Get the fuck out of here. I think the where we need to lump credit on this movie, where maybe it's not particularly forthcoming from a general viewing audience, shooting and lighting, what a challenge. And I think there's some really great lighting moments in this film, and not just because we're doing a lot of shit by torchlight. There's some great kind of, I don't know what you call it, like bubble lights, like siren type lights, some excellent movement of light in the movie that keeps everything very dynamic, and it serves the movie well, because the goal is constant dynamism, constant movement, constant tension, and lighting is the biggest factor in that for me throughout the whole movie. And I think that's what you lose if you're if you're lapsing in and out of paying attention. It's not subtly lit, but it's cleverly lit, I think. Whoever's fucking job it was to light this fucker, holy cow, you got a challenge on your hands, and they do it really well.
I mean, I'm going to talk about Wreck again. Is there a chance that you will ever watch Wreck, the original?
Yeah, just out of curiosity. I didn't want to watch it that way round, specifically. I didn't want to watch that first and have the good movie to compare the bad American remake to, because that always ruins everything. I'll happily watch this and say it was decent, and then watch Wreck and be like, oh yeah, it's better.
So the way that they use lighting in Wreck is so, in theory, they do a lot of the same things. But the way that they sort of magic it in Wreck, it's such an incredibly interesting use of lighting that this film, that Quarantine sort of uses and develops, and it doesn't do it badly, I don't think. I think you're right, like a lot of the lighting is very interesting and well used, and the sort of diegetic nature of lighting in a movie like this is clever. And it's, they're doing something similar in Wreck, because obviously it's the same movie, but they speak Spanish.
Yeah.
But there are things in Wreck, like particularly around the lighting, that are just like, oh, I see. That's what actually good looks like.
Right. Got you.
And yeah, I would massively recommend Wreck. I mean, I think it'd be interesting to hear your take on Wreck, having watched Quarantine first, because I think that, like, I watched Candyman 2 Farewell to the Flesh before I saw Candyman.
Yeah.
And obviously that's a retread of Candyman, but with, like, a little bit of a different flavor on top of it, but it's ultimately like the same movie again. And so that's the movie that I like more, because it's not the better movie, but it's the movie that I like more because I saw it I saw it in a hotel in Tenerife with Spanish subtitles when I was 12 years old. So like that's the movie that is the movie in my head.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting for me to hear your take on Wreck in 4 to 6 years when you get around to watching it.
I'll give it a whirl. I love Spain. I love the Spanish. And I love Tenerife. And I hope Spain win the World Cup. And I'm going to Tenerife in a couple of weeks' time. Maybe I'll watch it before I go.
It's also, like I say, it's 10 minutes shorter than this. It's 80 minutes. It's like there's no fat.
Yeah.
But like there's little fat in this.
Yeah, true. There's not much you could really cut in reality, is there?
No, I mean, I think
maybe you skinny down the fucking fireman scenes, and that's about it. Like,
yeah, I mean, it only takes 12 minutes for them to get out of the firehouse and into the
get out
of my dreams and into my car. So, like,
I love the falling death, by the way. Is it a fireman who falls off that balcony and just splats? That's fucking good. That looks really good. Am I remembering this correctly? Was Time Crimes Spanish?
Yes.
Right. Con los crímenes. Now, there's a great fucking Spanish movie.
Yeah, I think Spain do a lot in like the sort of low budget, interesting, like horror genre world, and like not a lot of it breaks through. And I mean, one of my big issues with this, like I mentioned at the beginning, was like that they don't mention Wreck in the commentary track. They don't. They allude to choices that they made. They delayed the release of Wreck in America, so this could come out first. And like, it just all feels really sort of shitty to me.
It doesn't feel like much of a tribute through that lens, does it? You're remaking something shot for shot, and I don't really know if you have a good way of explaining why, except money.
Yeah.
You gotta fucking doff your cap to something if you're literally remaking it beat for beat, shot for shot, plot point for plot point. Surely you have to say, like, we dedicate this award to Wreck, the movie that this is. Like,
yeah,
you owe every single second of what you've made to the original.
Yeah, and that's really what bristles me with this movie. That, like, you're right, it's ostensibly a good movie. It's ostensibly a well-made, decently paced, like snappy, get in, get out, run around the whole time screaming, which we know you don't love, but
I can still respect when it's done well. I think when it's done poorly, it stinks and it's a miserable experience. But because this is a well done version of that, I think there's a lot of value.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes me feel weird, and that's not a fun place to be.
It's a bit crass. It feels like copying someone's homework.
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess in a way you don't get to create a tribute without paying tribute. It doesn't sit right.
Yeah, I think it all feels very cynical and horrible, and it doesn't feel like a tribute. It feels like a cash grab. And like Paco Plaza and Balaguero are like, they don't like this movie. They don't like Quarantine.
Weird.
because they're like, how can you like truly like a copy?
That's tricky though, isn't it? Because there's a lot of good cover versions in the world.
But this isn't a cover version. They're just doing the same song. It's a tribute act, not a cover version. Do you know what I mean? It's a
good point. Subtle distinction. What about Hallowed Be Thy Name by Iron Maiden, covered by Cradle of Filth? Have you heard that?
Of course I've heard that. Good. I mean, he says motherfucker, and that's not in the original.
Exactly. Is this the Cradle of Filth, Hallowed Be Thy Name?
Absolutely not. I think the Cradle of Filth cover of Hallowed Be Thy Name, and I'm going to blow your mind here, Sam, is...
Oh, God, don't do it.
1,000 times better than the original.
Oh, my God. Jamie, Dios mío, that is unacceptable. I tell you what, I can blow your mind right back if you like. The Cradle of Filth cover of Death Comes Ripping by the Misfits is 1,000 times better than the original.
Yeah. Also,
the covers department.
The Metallica version of Death Comes Ripping is better than the original. And
I wouldn't. Can't agree with you there.
All right, let's go back to this movie.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Let's get out of here
for our wrap-up situation.
Yep.
So
wrap me up.
Ultimately, you're right. It's like it's a pretty good movie. It's well made. It looks decent. The performances, after a rocky start, like once we're in the barrel and we're rolling down the hill, like the performances either get good or don't matter.
Good point.
So it all kind of works. I just hate that it exists. And like,
in many ways, yeah, it's like the British Museum. You enjoy it. It's very interesting, but it's all stolen.
Yeah. On my last page of notes, I've just written "existence is pointless," and I think I was talking about the movie.
Fucking hell.
But I mean, that's also how I feel about life. I sort of think that, like, if you watch this and you like it and you love it, like fair dues, because there'll be maybe 15% of the audience would watch this. 50% of the audience who watch this would then be like, oh, this is based on a Spanish movie. Maybe I'll go watch that. Oh, it's way better. Now I'm interested in world cinema that I wasn't aware of before. And like,
yeah,
they didn't make it for that. That's a happy accident. But
you do get people trying to claim that that's what this was, that these benevolent filmmakers saw a phenomenal film struggling to find its audience and were like, let's America this bad boy.
I mean, if it was struggling to find its audience, it's because you delayed the release of it.
You delayed its release.
So you could get your fucking shitty remake out first. Not shitty remake.
Yeah.
That's not what I think, but you know what I mean.
Tell him, Jamie.
Like, fair dues. That's a positive. The movie itself is not horrible. Like, it's well made and it's fine. So you know what, Colby? Fine. You can have this one.
Brave choice.
Interesting choice for the American to pick the American movie. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, tell him, Jamie. Get him.
So in terms of a score, I'm going to give it 6 out of 14 splattered rats.
Nice. The inscrutable 14.
Is that the sequel to the Dirty 13?
Yes. It's coming up.
Excellent. Finally, we've all been waiting for the sequel to that song, Sam.
Sure.
If you haven't heard the Dirty 13 by Sam Russo,
you ain't gonna.
Isn't it on archive.org?
It's probably somewhere on the internet, yeah, unfortunately.
So I think there's someone in Cambridge or whatever is like archiving all of that local music scene stuff, and I believe that some of your early EPs are up there on archive.org. This episode is sponsored by archive.org/Sam Russo early demos.
Good Lord. You are referring to Ian Mark Perry, a man who I've begged multiple times to take those songs off the internet.
Oh, really? Oh, so that's MC iPod.
Yeah. No, he did ask, and I did say that he could. That was a mistake, but yeah.
Yeah. So I don't remember why we're talking about Dirty 13, but it's fine. It's good. Like, it in isolation, it's pretty good. In the context of the wider world where it exists as a monument to the hubris of American media conglomerations, piece of shit, fuck off and die. But like, you know what? You got to take the rough with the smooth, Sam.
Another glowing review.
You got to take the chaff with the wheat.
You really have. Yep. There's no separating them. You have to swallow them both without knowing which one is which.
Exactly.
Yep. That's the moral of this tale.
Give me yours.
5 out of 10 Spanish cuck chairs for me. I think because I don't like this kind of movie, it's hard to rate it highly because I don't enjoy this particular type of film. But I do really think it's well made. I honestly think Jennifer Carpenter's performance is a real challenge, a real fucker of a challenge to pull off. And I think she does a sterling job, especially because she's surrounded by so many bang average nothing performances happening in the periphery. I think it does its job of sustaining pretty fever pitch levels of tension and horror throughout. It's well lit. The music's great. And just fucking does its job. It's just unfortunate that it's a product of theft in a way. I don't know how fair that is. They never said, they never concealed that they were remaking another movie shot for shot. I think it's just
it's a lie by omission.
Yeah. Does it say on the cover, like, based on the Spanish horror Wreck? Does it do anything like that?
I don't believe so.
Well, if you don't believe it, I don't believe it. Yeah, it's got to be a straight down the middle review for me, because even if a movie is really well made and does exactly what it sets out to do, if I don't enjoy it, I can't really push it higher. It does like half the job for me.
Yeah. How do you feel?
I can see this being fun, for some people.
How do you feel about the cover of the movie being the last shot of the movie. Fucking stupid behavior, right? Like, obviously that's iconic, and it's iconic because of how good it is in Wreck, and it's pretty good here too. But like the dragging part of that, it just like it's why would you put that as the front cover? And they also on the poster, they really play up the sort of social political angle of it. It's like on March 11th, 2008, the government sealed off an apartment complex in Los Angeles. The residents were never seen again. No details, no witnesses, no evidence until now.
That feels more like a found footage tagline to me. It feels more, in the Blair Witch vein of things. Yeah, that last shot, I read a lot about it being iconic and it being, I think it's just a bang average found footage end shot for me. It did nothing for me whatsoever. There's better stills throughout the movie, and I think you could have just put Jennifer Carpenter in a cool position and had that be the cover, but I don't know.
She does do cool positions. Like
she sure does.
I remember in The Exorcism of Emily Rose, she gets into all kinds of weird angular scrapes.
You can say what you want about Jennifer Carpenter. She's got angles.
Yeah, angles for days.
Angles all over the shop.
Yeah. All right, Sam. Well, that was Quarantine. Colby's had his fill.
Hope you had a good time, Colby.
Yeah. Sorry that you picked a movie that I had some strong opinions about.
I'm glad. I like it when you have strong opinions about movies.
Yeah. I actively chose not to watch this because of how I felt more generally about its existence.
Yeah.
And the point.
Soft boycott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soft boy.
No, you were forced to watch it.
I sleep in my soft boycott.
You sure do.
But like it was nowhere near as bad as I was expecting it to be. And like the I guess because it's so shot for shotsy that like it would be hard to make it actually a bad movie.
You'd have to really go some to completely ruin it.
Yeah. If you have strong opinions about the movie Quarantine and want to share them, you can do over at our social media at FT Horror Show on your platform of choice. You can follow Sam at Sam Russo Music and get updates about upcoming tour dates, other things that he does.
Oh, I do stuff.
You can follow me at Carruthers with no E and a Z. You can also follow me at Letterboxd. That's Jamie FT. We mentioned the Patreon. That's patreon.com/Final Transmission.
There you go.
Colby month is over. Back to me picking stuff just to piss you off. So join us next time for our next Final Transmission. And all that's left to say is goodbye, Sam. So why don't you say that?
That.
See you later.